How did Fraternity Row ruin your life?
Well, maybe you remember a little something called the writer's strike. When instead of getting up at noon, doing a little yoga, and finally settling in front of the computers at 5 o'clock, the writers went out for drinks instead. Less from the network canceled Supermodel Crime Club. The only shows left in production were the soaps, so I agreed to audition for Fraternity Row.
You know, I've seen every episode. Were you in disguise or something?
They didn't hire me. They said I was too old.
What part did you go out for?
Brandon, of course, I would have been perfect.
Brandon's the president of the fraternity.
What's your point, Sean? And tread carefully. I'm married to a senator, you know. I could be presidential.
Honey, not even I could pass as a college student 4 years ago.
Guess what, Roxy? The movie studios don't agree with you because I'm playing the boy with the chipmunk tattoo.
So in other words, Fraternity Row didn't ruin your life. You married to a senator, and you're a movie star.
Yeah, well, the whole thing depressed me so much I couldn't audition altogether. And I missed out on my opportunity to be a TV star. Do you have any idea how much money they make in syndication?
What show are you talking about?
I don't kiss and tell. But it rhymes with the Schmentalist. So, now you know. And as far as I'm concerned, Fraternity Row can rust at the bottom of the sea.
This really proves just how quickly things can change, doesn't it? I mean, a couple of weeks ago, we were trying to create the best situation for Destiny and the baby so that Destiny could go to college. And now, with Matthew back, I think that the four of us are going to have to sit down and we're going to have to rethink things.
Yeah, that's right. Whole new ball game.
I'm sorry if I made any assumptions. I thought, well, obviously, you know, Matthew and Destiny need to talk.
I'm sure the kids have their own ideas about how they want it all to go.
Yeah, well, they need to be heard. I mean, they're the parents.
Yeah, and the sooner, the better.
Agreed. But speaking of sooner, better, we got our son a burger and it's probably getting cold. We need to get that back to him.
Yeah.
Well, we would love to see him. Well, when he's feeling better.
How about right now?
Well,
Okay.
You know, my life was fine, and I don't need you judging it.
Okay, Des, you know that I'm not. I mean, Greg lied to you. Your parents lied to you. That made you really mad when you found that out.
I'm not gonna lie to our child, Matthew. This baby's gonna know that we're the parents.
Oh, and have it think that we just handed it off to its grandparents? How do you think that's gonna make it feel?
Well, I don't know, but my parents did a pretty good job, I think. Obviously, yours didn't.
Oh, come on, don't be like that. I mean, we talked about going to college. Don't you still want that? Because I do. And if we give it up for adoption, he could have a real family. And we could still live our lives.
Oh, so you can't have a life with a baby?
Des, look, I can't do this. Okay, do you have any idea how much makeup work I'm gonna have to do? I'm gonna have to take extra classes, plus summer school. And maybe after all that work, I'll get to go to a good college. I mean, I wanna live my life. I almost died. I wanna go to college, have new experiences, go to parties, meet new people.
New people, like girls.
Yeah, I guess.
So much for our night together meaning something to you. So that's why Tomas was in Dad's office that night, to frame him?
yeah. I mean, why not? Until Tomas confessed, everybody thought your dad had done it.
Not everyone.
Okay, you always see the good in your father, and I do appreciate that. But John was convinced that your dad had done it, and he was just waiting to find the murder weapon so he could turn the case over to the DA, except Tomas is the one that had the gun because he took it from Louis. And I'll bet you another one of these hot chocolates that that's what he was doing in your dad's office. He was trying to plant that gun in there until I walked in and caught him.
Well, then why didn't he plant the gun after you left?
Because your dad walked in and he couldn't do it. That's why Tomas had the gun. That's why he hid it in the back of that drawer. He was just waiting for another opportunity to frame your dad. And that's also why John could never figure out why Tomas never got rid of the murder weapon. Now we know why.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
What are you talking about? It makes perfect sense. And your father knew it. He knew all along. And, you know, here I thought he was just acting all crazy jealous, but he was right about Tomas. Instead of me staying there and following my plan, talking to your dad about stuff, I went home and I slept with Tomas.
Mom, that's too much information.
Just learn from my mistakes, dear. Learn from my mistakes.
So what are you saying? Are you saying that you should have picked Dad?
You know, the thing about proof, Jack, is you only really need a tiny little bit of it, especially when you're dealing with John McBain.
What does he have to do with anything?
Oh, he was on to you. My assistant was about to tell him that you were the one who made the phone call that sent everybody home that afternoon.
So why didn't she?
Because I stopped her. What, you think she's the new Sun fashion editor because of her fine sense of fashion? When she moved into her office, she was wearing high heels with sweatpants.
So am I supposed to thank you now?
Yeah, I think you should thank me for not spending your sophomore year in lockup.
Why would you do this for me?
Because you're my son. And that's what fathers do. I don't care what you do to me, Jack. I don't care how much you try and hurt me. I will never stop loving you.
Baker took the murder weapon from Louis and planted it in Tomas's dresser.
Before or after they grabbed him?
A few hours later.
And how did they get him to confess to Blair?
I'm sure it was under duress.
Oh my God. Baker's in this why?
I'm not sure what they promised him. Money, no doubt. He always was a greedy man and ruthless. He'll do anything to make sure the real killer isn't found.
What do you want me to say?
You don't have to say anything. We're family, Jack. We'll do whatever it takes to protect one another.
So who's Baker protecting? Who really killed Victor Lord Jr.?
You and your sisters mean everything to me. I don't ever want anything bad to happen to you. I'll do whatever it takes to protect what's mine.